People who preach the gospel, they can be put into roughly, I'm saying roughly, they can be put into, I would say, three categories. People who preach the gospel, they can be put roughly into three categories. There are people who preach the gospel because of a desire. There are people who preach the gospel because of a desire, meaning they have a passion to preach. They have a strong will and a strong zeal to preach the gospel. And because of that desire to preach the gospel, they have begun to go around preaching, open a ministry, this, get invitations to go and preach from a desire. And these people, the desire can come or can emanate from selfish ambitions, or it can emanate from a pure heart. So you can have someone who's got a desire to preach the gospel. The desire emanates from a selfish reasons, selfish ambitions, which are often destructive. And another one has got a desire from a pure heart. But they are still under one category of a desire, just a desire. Then you have got a second group of people. These ones, they've got the anointing, but not the desire. And these people, oftentimes, they don't open the church. They've got the anointing, but they don't want anything to do with the pulpit, opening a church, starting a ministry. They just don't want. But they've got the anointing. A desire is a man saying, I want to work for God. That's the desire. I want to work for God. But anointing is God saying, I want you to work for me. Two different things. When you have an anointing, that means you've got the grace to preach. That means heaven is aware that you are preaching. That means heaven is backing you up. They are aware that you are doing the work of God because of the anointing. But a desire alone is a man putting up their hand to say, I'm going to preach the gospel. I want to preach the gospel. Then there's a third category where the desire meets the anointing. Where the desire meets the anointing. So, personally, I would want to be under a church or under a leader, a church leader who has got the desire plus the anointing. There are people who are anointed, but there is no desire to preach. You find that this person, when they just share scriptures, there's so much wisdom as they speak. They can just pray and things happen. They can just, they're just given few minutes to share and they preach the most powerful sermon. So that's the people who are anointed. Because when you're anointed, as much as you are the one speaking, but the Christ is speaking from within you. So, desire to be in a church, there's a desire and there's an anointing. To God be the glory.